Did you know that Sloan is for chumps and that you should be playing Caine1? Let's talk about it.
Or tactical team.
Hey there guys, this is me, Malorian, and this is going to be an Orc Tactical Team, and today our topic is why Caine1 is number one. Now, we're going to be talking about Cygnar, so whether you play Cygnar or you want to beat Cygnar, this is going to be a good one for you to listen to. Now, of course, there's lots of ways to play it, right? Any faction you take, there are lots of different ways and play styles to play the faction. And a big one for Cygnar is the gun line. It's hard to avoid the fact that we got a lot of guns in Cygnar and some really good casters that really support it. So if you're playing Cygnar or you're playing against Cygnar, you have to be ready for the gun line. So normally when you look at them and you say, well, okay, what's really the big thing that makes Cygnar shine in the gun line? And that's going to be Sloan. Sloan, right off the bat, is going to flash in your face and say, wow, she is amazing. I think in part because she's so much better than a Mark II, but when you see her and she has a Weapon Master sniper rifle, and she also makes her entire battle group be able to shoot twice and also get fire group, and she can do guided fire, yeah, that's pretty dang good, you know? Whenever you need to, you can go up there, you pop that feat, all your jacks shoot twice, you wipe out all the heavies, or you just kill the caster. Sloan has her own sniper rifle, Reinhold can make her shoot again, click, click, boom, boom, down goes the caster, and that can be the game just like that. Now, that's good, and a lot of people have done very well with Sloan. However, the one piece that does seem to be missing there usually is going to be the anti-infantry. Now, there's other builds for Sloan where they have grenadiers and all this other stuff, but in general, that's a real weakness of Sloan, is that she can't really deal with that stuff. What she can deal with, though, which is another reason why she's amazing, is the fact that she sees through stealth. She gives the entire team true sight, not team, the entire battle group, and so if someone's trying to stand on the other side and say, hey, I'm stealth, I'm invincible, no, she will take you off the table. So for those types of targets, she is amazing, and she will take them off. She doesn't like seeing a horde, that's for sure, but if you have these single targets, like if there's a couple of jacks or a couple of colossals, she is going to give them a really rough time and might just ignore them and kill the caster. So right there, she's sounding pretty damn good. Now the next one that's a little bit like her, but a little bit different, is going to be Caine1. Because Caine1 says, hey, you like shooting twice? I make everybody shoot twice. That sounds even better. Plus, she also has her spell that makes it so everything gets less speed, -2 speed, and -2 defense. So it's easier to hit them, and they're going to be going slower, so you're going to have even more turns to shoot at them. And even better, because she has chain lightning that she can use, and things like the Tempest Blazers can also shoot twice, she really can help answering that problem. It's like, well, what if there's infantry? We'll just shoot twice and kill them all, right? So that can be a really big thing that really helps her. However, even though she kind of does that part of Sloan, but better, she has some real problems. So for Sloan, if you ever had anything with stealth, hey, no problem, everybody can see it. If it's Haley and something has stealth, you're in a lot of trouble. Now you could take Reinhold so that he can use a little eyeglass, like from the ear apparently, no, from the eye, can use a spyglass and take away stealth from one model, but she doesn't really like taking Reinhold. She likes taking Squire so that bubble can actually be at its full effect, and it really isn't really working with her playstyle. So if you ever want to go with her, again, great gun line, double shots, your opponent's going slower, awesome. However, if they have that one counter, you're in a lot of trouble. Now another one that I really like and I'm a real big fan of is Caine2. Now Caine2's not going to make all your jacks shoot twice. However, what he's going to do is definitely answer typically the answer of the question of stealth and the infantry. He can go and take his trick shot for each one of his shots, and he can shoot as many times as he has focus, and he can kill a lot of infantry in a single turn. And because he also is true sight himself, if you're coming and having some stealth infantry coming at you, he can shoot it down. If there's a stealth caster, he can go after that. A stealth heavy, he can pop his feet and take that thing down. So he's not really doing things for the other jacks. I mean, he can do fire of effect, put that on one of them, or on, Iris or something like that. But doesn't really support them, but kind of answers some of the questions himself. However, if you have anything on the other side where the heavies have stealth, well, then nobody else is doing anything. They're kind of standing around and kind of hoping Caine1 saves them. Now, worse yet is that when these three are put together, and you got Sloan, who's awesome, you got Caine1, who's awesome, you got Caine2, who's awesome, but they all have a fatal flaw, which is magic. Now, of course, everybody knows that the Cygnar gunline is dangerous, and because of that, they are building now an anti-gunline as part of their list. Just kind of like how in Mark II, you always had your Crix answer, like one list that could deal with infantry. Pretty much in Mark III, you need to have one list that is set up to be fighting gunlines. We had a video about it before. It's a big thing you should be making sure you do. And if you do that against Cygnar, these three casters get very sad. And there's also been a trend lately of the type of defense there is against that, in that a lot of people now are getting a wind wall type spell. Something that's saying, hey, if you don't have magical attacks, you can't shoot me and you can't shoot the people around me. Or there's Menoth, who have always had their choir, who say, haha, blessing, blessing, you can't shoot my jacks unless you have magical guns. Now, you can try and slow down the game in that case and try and kill off the choir, but that can be a real dangerous and hard thing to do. Again, you could have someone like Sloan or Caine1 where they have magical guns, and so they can get a bead on the caster, maybe they can close it, but otherwise, again, their whole battle group is sitting around doing nothing and just hoping that their bosses can save them. And that's not a good spot to be in. You want to be having control. And this is where I come to Caine1. What I like to do now and then is just kind of like go through my cards and say like, okay, who have I not really looked at for a while? Guys like Siege, okay, I'm not really ringing a bell with me. It's not really working for me. And then I saw Caine1, and he just kind of answered everything I wanted. Now, again, Caine1 is not going to be making his jacks overly better. He's not going to be saying, okay, all you guys shoot twice, or I'm not going to be lowering the defense of my opponent. Although there is one way he could be doing that. But one big thing he's doing is kind of answering all the usual counters. Now, the first thing he's going to do is that he's going to have Field Marshal Arcane Ammunition. Now, that's just going to give the whole battle group magical attacks on their range weapons. Actually, just on the range weapons only. I was wondering if it was on the fist too. It's not, but doesn't even matter here. So all of a sudden, the #1 counter that's been coming out to be stopping gun lines, I mean, there are some other ones out there that are with different mechanisms, but this one that's been so prevalent with all the Menoth out there and people like Lilith 3 and Resnick 2, well, also now you're saying, well, I don't care. I got magical guns. And if I'm ever up against Crix and they're trying to have some ghosts come at me, ha! Bring it. I'm going to take you all down. So that's awesome. Now, when I saw it though, is that really enough, right? That doesn't seem to be enough. And what else does Caine1 even give? Well, the first thing is he actually does a lot more work himself than I first gave him credit for. I mean, you look at someone like Caine2 with all of his shots and all the trick shots, and you're like, this guy's amazing. He does everything I'd ever want. Well, actually Caine1 can do a lot of that himself too. He has 2 shots initially, he can buy another one, and if Reinhold's there, well, then he can get another one too. Now that's not crazy Caine2, where he could be then buying another 3 more normally, but that's pretty dang close. So if you're trying to shoot one target, he's already pretty much there, but better yet, he has his feet. And with his feet, he's able to shoot every single model in his control area. So even Caine1 or Caine2, who is there doing his shots and doing his little trick shots, well, the trick shots are only POW 10s, so sometimes they can't get the work done. And really, if there's like a horde coming at me, I can go pop that feat, shoot everything around me, and it just all goes away. Plus, it gets past some of the normal things you'd normally see to defend against it, where, hey, I'm going to have a line of guys, and I'm going to hide my guys behind, so that way Caine1 can't get them, unless he tries a trick shot, so I'll put it a little bit more than 4 inches behind. Well, Caine1 doesn't care. That feat there ignores all models for a line of sight, so boom, if you got mechanics or choir or anything up behind there, he just shoots them all and then teleports away. And his teleport is faster than what Caine1 can do and also cheaper. So that's pretty awesome. He can't shoot after it, so I mean that's just not that like crazy. I'm going to go in there and kind of like gate crash to you, but I can go up there, I can do my business and kill all the infantry, and then I can just get out of here. And at the same time when he's doing that, remember that he's also getting up to 4 more shots on top of that as well. So that's really, really, really good. Now again, we said that he's a guy who likes to have Reinhold. So again, if you have some stealth, if you have it like, okay, that caster stealth, and that's how they're trying to hide, hey guys, I'm going to take that stealth away with Reinhold, and now I can shoot him up with all of my guys. And that's so good. Now, another way that people try and defend against the whole gunline thing is things like a shield guard. Shield guards can try and take away one of the most powerful attacks, or Iris 1 is a very key tool in assassination lists, and so you save your shield guard for that one to make sure they don't take all your focus away. Well, unfortunately for them, Caine1 also has a spell which is called Thunderstrike. Now, Thunderstrike is going to be an offensive spell that if he casts from himself, actually gets +5 range. So again, if you're looking at his card, you're like, range 8, that's nothing, that's never going to really come up. Well, actually that's range 13, and he can move 7 inches first, and if he really wanted to, he could charge somebody. So I can either walk up and that way I have a 20-inch threat, or if I charge someone and then do it, it's a 23-inch threat. That is a major threat for a slam. And all of a sudden, if there is a shield guard, I can slam it away, I can slam something into the shield guard, and then once it's down, it can't do its work. Or, better yet, I can slam something into the enemy caster. So we said that Haley 1 was good because she dropped the defense of your opponent. Well, it turns out if your opponent is knocked down, their defense is low enough. It turns out defense 5 is pretty bad. So that can be amazingly huge. The fact that, okay, this guy has high defense, I don't know if I can get this, because that's another way to stop it too, right? You might try and stop a gun line with some high defense. Well, I don't care what defense you are, I'm going to slam something into you, and now it's 5. Alright, everybody shoot away, and you can have some fun. Really huge. Now, he also has some great defensive spells. He has Blur, so if you have Storm Lances that you want to try and keep alive, you can put Blur on them. All of a sudden, they're defense 16 against range and magic, and that should probably keep them safe. Plus, he also has Snipe. Now, you can now put Snipe onto those Storm Lances and get a whole bunch more throughout them. Or maybe it's a Snipe on just a regular Hunter or some other Jack where something key in the back thought it was safe, and boom, Snipe goes on, ridiculous range, and takes them out. Hell, if you have nobody else to put it onto, put it on a Caine1 so that every single turn he has a 16-inch range gun that he can go and start shooting off and picking off key models. And that's 16 if you're standing still. Again, if he decides that he wants to walk up, that's a 23-inch threat that he has with it. Or he could charge because he has Gunfighter, and now that's a 26-inch threat. That is pretty massive. If somebody's staying back and they're thinking they're safe, spend all their focus because they're that far away, no, he has Snipe on himself, he charges up, you put those shots to the caster, you might be able to put them to bed right there. So that can be pretty huge. Normally I think it won't be that against the caster, it'll be more so shooting off those key models and then teleporting away. But yeah, that's definitely a huge thing that he has in his favor. So what it really comes down here, guys, is that I'm not saying that Sloan is bad. I'm not saying Haley 1 is bad. I'm definitely not saying Caine2 is bad. What I'm saying is that if you go and you play against Joe Dumblestein, and they don't know what they're doing, and there's just random lists, your Kane or your Sloan list will blow them out of the water because you're going to get double shots and take them away. However, as a competitive player, you're probably going to be beating these people anyway. What it really comes down to is that when you're playing those tournament games and you're in the upper brackets and all of a sudden they're going to be pulling out their anti-gunline list, which has to either deal with stealth or magic, well, or, high defense or a shield guard, Caine1 is having the answers to all these things. He's not the obvious answer because he's not turning up your battle group to 11. He's the answer because he's countering the counters. And I think he's in a wonderful spot right now. I had a recent game up against a Manoth guy, and it was a big thing like, wow, this is not the way I thought it was supposed to be. I'm not used to having my jacks being shot or my caster being shot. Resnick 2, I just got to hold on to one focus and you can't shoot me. That's all gone now. It's a whole different game. So I really think that competitive Cygnar players should give a serious look at Caine1, and I really think that if you're on the other side and you think you're safe because of things like wind wall or stealth or, your choir and stuff like that, or high defense, yeah, you might want to be looking at Caine1 because he's in a perfect spot right now to explode over the scene. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching for this one. I'm going to be trying to get more games out there with Caine1 and hopefully showcase this off. But please post down there your thoughts, and I'd love to chat with you guys about it. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.